Hi, welcome everyone to my studio. I'm going to produce this video to answer a few of questions that I've had from my patrons. So in this video I'm going to be showing you 1, why I think it is very important to apply a primer, 2, it's not as costly as you really think it is in the end, and 3, you're also going to find out how I actually apply my primer. So what I have here is we've got a 20-inch baby that I'm going to prime here. I believe it is a 3/4 arm and full leg, and I'm going to use the Reborn FX primer as I've shown you, and we're going to put 1 milliliter right into this needle here. Just for a controlled amount to see how far it will take us. So I'm going to take this out of the needle and I'm going to put it onto my glass palette here. There we go, and you'll see what the size is. It's about the size about an American quarter, maybe a little bit bigger, 1 milliliter. Then I'm going to take my sponge wedge. And of course I always use a damp one, so here I am showing you how I dip it into the water and then we really rinse it out, so it's just damp. Alright, and then we're going to take some, not all of it, you'll see I just go into the edge here. And then you're going to find that I actually wipe it on. So I want to get it into all those creases and just as distributed it out on half of that head. So that's why you're seeing me push it more so. And then I will come back in, as you see, and I will pounce. The pouncing adds some tooth to the primer so that the paint sticks better to it. And then I will continue on to the back of the head. You'll see me wiping it on first, and then I am pouncing it to give it that tooth. And if my sponge isn't leaving anything behind, I will just dip a little bit in there and continue on to make sure that the whole head is covered and I've gotten into all those creases there. So I'm going to continue on here, but I'm probably going to quicken up the process because it can be pretty boring watching me do all this pouncing on each of the limbs. So we'll fast forward as we're going, and I'll slow down as I'm dipping back in to show you the quantities that I am using here. So other than the fact that I have got it on fast forward right now, I would like you to take note of how little I am actually putting onto the sponge and rubbing it on. It is a very thin layer that you need. We're just adding a little bit of binder in there to allow for the paint to stick better to the vinyl so you don't get any slippery areas where the paint will resist, as sometimes happens on many vinyls. It's also protectant and less risk of not having that happen to you where the paint won't stick onto the vinyl. That's why I basically do recommend that you do put primer on. You see how little I use in the end, which is very surprising, but it really does do the trick. So to me, it's not worth the risk not putting primer on. I know I've had patrons tell me that they can put the paints on from the Reborn FX line right onto the vinyl and it sticks fine. That's great, but all vinyls are different, and I have found my favorite brands will even end up having a resist area once in a while. So what you're seeing me do here is basically taking the rest of the primer that's left on the syringe needle tip there, and I'm just putting it onto my sponge and I'm going to apply it onto my head. I like to do that basically because I hate wasting excess, so I'll just put it onto the head because I end up rooting my heads, and so I'm just going to add some extra protectant there. Not a lot left on the sponge, but enough to just get rid of onto the head there. So now that we're all finished here, we'll take the results and see how far 1 milliliter will go with a 1 ounce bottle and how cost effective it is for you to use. So here I've written out what we've done, assuming I did my math right, which I'm pretty sure I did. We have used 1 milliliter of the primer for a 20-inch doll with head and limbs, and we are going to tell you that there are 30 milliliters in an ounce of bottle of primer, so that equals 20 dolls that you can get out of a 1 ounce primer bottle. So with that 1 ounce size, it should equal $30, 9 cents per doll. Now, if you get the larger bottles, of course, it will be to your advantage because the more you get, the lesser the price is per ounce. So you may want to consider that. But in the end, $30 out of 1 ounce bottle, I think, is pretty cheap in my own opinion. So hopefully this has been helpful to you, and thank you for watching.